Hello, welcome to this channel. My name is Enoch. Today we will continue our series on Python, and we will continue our strategy of learning Python using project. And the project we are doing today is calculator. We are going to be creating a calculator program that can add, subtract, multiply, all those mathematical operations. All right, and before we go into that, I just want to touch one or two things. And the first thing I just want to remind us is break. Generally we have been using it in my previous videos. I just want to say that again. I just want to remind you that break is used for loops only, and if you are doing a for loop or a while loop, and you stop the loop completely and jump out of that loop. We know that we have been using it library. It's used for loops only. Stop the loops completely, and jump out of the loop. And we also know continue. Continue is used for loop only too, and it skip the current loop iteration, jump to the next loop iteration. That's what it does. And return is the one we have not been using, which I will stay a little bit on today and give an example. Now, return is used inside a function, and the first thing it does is exit the function immediately. Exit the function immediately, and it optionally send a value back to where the function was called. And if no value is given, it will return none. All right, let me show you an example. If I say def and I say add a of b, and I say return a plus b like this. If I say return a of b like this, I can say result equals to add 1 of 2, and I can go ahead and print result. If you run this, you will see that this one will just return it will return this a plus b. It will send the result of the addition back to the caller where it's called there, and the function end immediately after the return. If there are any other code here, if there are any other code after this return, they will not run. So just note that if I run this code, you will see that we get the result of this. If I don't put this print there, it will not. If I don't put this print there, it will not print. It will not print out the. It will just. The result will just be hanging here because we did not tell it to print it out. Let me run it and you will see that you can see. So the result is here where it's called. I just need to print it out for us to get it. That's one example you need to pay attention to. And if I write any other code behind this, it will not run. It will only get us out of the function. It will get us out of the function where this return is. So anything after the return inside the function will not run. Right. So let's move away from return now. Now, docstring. I also want to talk about docstring. Docstring is just a short form of is short for documentation string, and is a special kind of comment in Python that describes what a function, class, or module does. If you are writing a function, after you define the function, the next line should be a docstring, which will state what the function does. Unlike normal comment that start with hash, a docstring is just written inside triple quote, whether it's double quote or single quote, and is placed immediately after the function, class, or module definition. So for example, if I say def of add of a comma b like this, a comma b then I can go ahead and add a docstring here, and I can say this is to add 2 numbers and give a return, and give a return. So from there now I can start writing my code or something. It makes your code look professional. It looks maintainable, and it's best practices to put docstring if you are defining a function, a class, or a module, so that anyone seeing your code can understand what the code is doing, and they can be able to easily interpret and maintain the code if they have to. So that's that. Let's go to our project, which is calculator. For this project I have drawn a simple flow chart, just to help us for this to navigate this project easily. The first thing we want to do is to ask for a number, and we will display all the mathematical operator signs, and we will allow the user to pick an operation, whether they want division, subtraction, multiplication, anyone they want. So they will pick an operation, and they will be asked to give the second number and perform the operation of the first number on the second number, and we will have an input to type yes. We will have an input to type Y to continue calculating with the result of the above operation, or N to start a new operation, or Q to quit, and break. So if this is yes, then it will loop them back to allow them to pick an operation again. If this is no, then for no, then it goes back to the beginning of the project. And if they pick, there will be another option, which is Q, which will allow them to quit if they want to quit. So that's an idea of how it's going to go. So let's go and execute it. So I just want to say something before we leave this flow chart. Now for this one, it's obvious we are going to use a while loop, and for this one I will use a function. I will use a function for this. I don't want to use while loop for this. And let us go to our IDE and start doing it. So I will just say this is a calculator. This is a calculator project, and want to go right away to start using a definition. So let's define our function calculator, and I will just put it like that, and I will then move on. Now the first thing we want to is to allow them to give their first number. So I will say first number equals to enter a number, and I will want to make this a float. Now well, I may want to also first print welcome to your calculator, like that. Welcome to your calculator, and then we move to the input, and let's remove this. So for the first number and the second number that will be requested, then we will have to change it to a float, so that it can run. We have to change it to a float. So I will not want to be checking for float twice like that. So I probably want to write another function to just check the float. Let's write the function definition to get float. Now to get float, so and we are going to give it a parameter of prompt. And you will see the way I want to do it. Now prompt, like I said, anytime you are defining a function, you should write your docstring. This is to check to check for floats, to check the validity of the float, the validity of the inputs as a float, right? This is to check the validity of the input as a float. So the next thing I will do, I'll put it in a while loop. So when while this is true, then I will say try, then I will say return float of input of prompt. Then I will say accept a value error like this, and I will say print enter a valid number, enter a number, enter a number, in case the person enter an alphabet which is going to raise an error, so it will say enter a number. All right, so you don't forget return will break us out of the loop, so we don't need to start writing break again. It will break us out of the loop. So you can see it's even taking us to another something like that, meaning that return will break us out of the loop. All right, so this is what we are going to use to be checking if our input can be changed to float or not. So let us write our docstring for those two. Then this is to perform calculation. This is to perform calculations. All right, so we can leave it like this. So welcome to your calculator. First number like this, and the first number will be guess what it will be. Get float, right? Get float. So it will be calling the function above, and it will give it this as a parameter, so that's that. And for the second, now the next thing we want to give is an operation. Now if you check our float, you will see that for there where we want to give the operation, there is going to be a while loop. Here. So I will just put the operation under a while loop. I'll say while true, and I will say operation equals to then I'll put our input. Then I will say type the operation. I will say input. Then I will say type the operation. Then I can say then let's say plus, comma, negative, asterisk, division, something like that, So type the operation, pick the operation you want to perform, type the operation you want to perform. So that's what I'm going to do. Type the operation you want to perform, and from there I can say second number, and it will be get float. Enter the second number. I can put strip here, so that no matter what you put there, but supposed to pick just plus, negative. You're supposed to pick any of this. So pick an operation. Then let me just say pick an operation instead of type an operation. Pick an operation. Pick an operation. So from here on we can start checking for the operation, right? Now if the operation is positive, then we can have a result which will be first number plus second number, right? And elif operation is negative, then we can have result with equal to first number minus second number. Then elif operation is multiplication, then we can say result equals first number, multiplied by second number. And elif operation is division. Now, if operation is division, you know that if you are dividing by 0, that will give you an error. So we need to check if the second number is not 0. So I can say if second number is not equal to 0, then our result will now be equals to this. Else then you will print please enter a number. All right, if second number is this, if second number is not equal to 0, then result will be this. Else we will say please enter a number, and we will continue. We will just skip that particular iteration and let them go back to picking their operation again. So it will just skip back to this place and they will be able to pick their operation again, right? So that's that, and let's continue from there. So which operation is next? So we can just leave it like that. So we have division, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division. So we can say else. So if they put in the wrong, maybe they type some other things apart from all these operations, then what are we going to tell them? We can say print enter, print invalid operation, invalid input, or invalid operation. Let's just say invalid operation. Please try again, right? And we will also continue again so that it will skip the operation, to skip the iteration and just go back to ask for them to pick an operation, again. So that's that, and we want to print something after this. And what do we want to print? Let's use an F string, and in this F string we are going to have first number plus second number equals result, right? First number, then operation, second number, then equals result, like that. So we are going to see all these printed to the terminal like that. And the next thing is to do a restart. And I will say restart equals to input, and let's say type y to continue with to continue the calculation with result, right? With result. So we'll make this an F string. Results, or then I can say n to start a new calculation, right? Start a new calculation, or Q to quit calculation, right? All right, so type Y to continue the calculation with result, and to start a new calculation, or Q to quit, right? That's what we are going to do. In this place, I can say for continuation, I can make first number to be equal to result. Once I pass this printing stage, then I can make first number to be equal to result, so that by the time it loops back in this place, it will be using the result as the first number, not so if you type y, what will happen? If restart equals to y, then what do we want to do? Then we want it to break out. We want it to go back to this while loop. That's what we want it to do. We want it to go back to this while loop. So what do we do if we want that to happen? So if restart equals to y, then we do continue. So it will just continue to the next iteration and start the while loop again. And if restart is no, then what we want to do? If restart is n, then we want to start a new calculation, right? We need to break out of the while loop, right? And but we need to call the function again. We need to call the function again and break out of the while loop because we want it to restart. This idea of calling a function inside itself is called recursion. So it's called recursion. So it's going to call it inside itself, and we already have. You'll be wondering why I put break here again. We already have an instance of the function that is running, so we need to break that one, and this one will continue. So we are breaking out of the old instance of the function that is running, and we have a new instance of the function to be running. Okay, so just note that if restart is q, then we are going to print goodbye, and we will break out of the while loop, right? We're going to print goodbye, and we will break out of the while. We'll break out of it. So now, in case they give anything else, we'll print invalid entry, invalid input. Then I'm exiting, right? Invalid input, then I'm exiting. So let's just let's leave it like this, and let's call our calculator function like that. So if you want us to go back above to go and check it out, let us go and check it. Let's go and check it from above. Okay, let's check it from above and see. We wrote this function so that we don't keep repeating ourselves, so that we won't keep repeating ourselves for first number and second number. So this function is just going to work on the first number and second number to make sure that to check if the input can be converted to a float, from string to float. That's the essence of this one. And if it's not, it cannot be converted to a float, then the while loop will run again. All right, and the return will break out of the while loop. It will break out of the try, and to break out of the try function, and it also break out of the function. So that's that. And this calculator, so this is to perform the calculation. So we welcome verb, we'll get the first number, and we get the operation from here. And we ask them to pick an operation. So we ask for the second number, and ask them to enter the second number using the function that we define above. And we start checking if this is this, then we have a result. If this is negative, then we keep checking it like that. And if it's division, we'll guard against error, and we will continue like that. And if they give an invalid input, then we say invalid operation, try again and continue. To break, it will skip that iteration and just continue, and it will print the first number with the operation with the second number and the result, right? And For continuation, we just say first number is equal to result. As we are restarting, the first number will now be the result that is coming from this while loop. So restart, if you type yes, then restart will continue, or we can bring this first number inside this place. I can take this one and just bring it down here. I can take this and bring this down here. Can take this and bring it down here, and we should be fine with that too. All right. So then, if restart is end, then calculator, then it will call the function and it will break out of the old instance that you're running. If it's queue, then it will say goodbye and break it. If they give an invalid input, then it will exit and it will break. We're supposed to put break here. All right, so let's run our function and let's see that everything is working as it's supposed to work. Welcome to your calculator. Please enter your first number. I can say 10. Please pick an operation. Can say operation is division. Enter a second number. I can say second number is 0. Let's see. Please enter a number. You can see that is working well. And you said pick an operation, division, enter the second number. I can say 2 now. Then he said 10 divided by 2 will give us 5. Type Y to continue the calculation, something like that. You can space some of these things, so that it will not be too much together like this. So do we want to continue? Let's say we want to continue, and I can say pick an operation. Let me say division, and enter a number. I can say 10. Okay, and it will say 5 plus 10 equals to 15. Okay, let's pick n now. N to start a new calculation. Then I say n. Then to say enter your first number. You say welcome to this. Well, for this, if you want, you can clear your screen. If you want, you can clear your screen. For the new iteration, you can clear your screen. So we can import time here, and we can also import OS. We can import OS here, so that every time this function is called anew, then we have os.system cls but if os name. So this is going to, I explained this in my last video and you should be familiar with it now. This is just to clear the screen. If you are using a Windows system, this will clear it with CLS, but if it's not, for any other ones, then it will use this clear, right? It's just to clear your stuff, and wherever we want to break out, we can just put time.speed. We can put time dot speed of 1 just for a second, or you can leave it like that if you don't want, So let's run it again. Let's run it again and see what happens. Let's pick a number 20. Pick an operation. I can say multiplication, and enter a second number. Then I can say right. If you remember, that I told you in the last video that you can, this terminal is not a normal terminal. So if you want to run it, it's better to go and run it in another terminal. So I will just get out of this. I will just get out of this and just go and run it so you click it, you go to the right click on the file and go and say open in terminal, right click on the file and say open in terminal, and you type Python, then you type your the name of your file, calculator dot py, calculator.py, like that. Enter a number. You can see clears the screen. Enter a number. I can say 20. Pick an operation. I can say okay, multiplication, and enter a second number. I can say 5. Then say 20 multiplied by 5 is 100. Type Y to continue. I can say Y first, and pick an operation. I can say division. Then to say enter the second number, then I can enter the second number. I can say 5 again, and say 100 divided by 5 is 20. Right? Type N to start. Let's try that one. N. Then so it's clearing this your terminal for a new one, and you can start a new operation again. So if I say 20, pick an operation. I can say addition. Enter your second number. I say 50. Then you say 20 plus 50, 70. So I will just type Q to quit, like that. Say goodbye. All right. So that's that for today. I hope you have learned something. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, for you to get the best out of any coding learning, it is better to use the 80-20 rule. Spend most of your time writing code and solving a problem, and 20% of your time watching tutorials and videos like this. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.